Hello, Pete's Packs here, and we're back with the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms Commander decks. So we do have a full case here, and going to be opening those up in the next few videos. Let's get this open and see what the decks are. There are 4 decks, if I remember correctly. Yes, 4 decks. So we have Dahlia, Kindler of Hope, which appears to be Bant colored. We have Sephirus of the Hidden Ways, which is Esper. Oh, Aura of Courage, Dungeons of Death. Yeah. Okay. Then we have Arachnus one, which is Prosper Tomebound, with the Planner Portal Commander deck. And last but not least, we have Draconic Rage of Ancients, which is Gruul, and the Draconic Rage deck. Alright, so we're going to start off with Draconic Rage, since that was the last one to come out. We'll move these back over there and get into this. Alright. Huh. Probably should have used the pull cord. It's alright. As with others, it has the 9 tokens and the divider. It just appears to be the current style of deck box that they're going, or of deck that they're, yeah, deck box and packaging that they're going with. We have recyclable insert. Nice themed and sort of labeled deck box. There is a double-sided 40 life spin down counter, or double-sided life counter. Then we have an insert. Let's see. This one has the name of the deck, Draconic Rage, Primary Commander, then the quick rules for that. And then on the other side, there's a pair of ads, and then a blurb about the 3 deck commanders. All right. Now that we have the accoutrement covered, let's see what's actually in this thing. All right. Let's adjust our light. There we go. All right. See, we have Draconic Rage of Ancients. 3 green red, or 3 red green, for 5/4 with Enrage. When it's dealt damage, you may create a 5/4 red and green Dragon Spear creature token. With when this creature deals damage, sacrifice it. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, you may have Draconic deal 1 damage to itself. Oh, okay. So kind of a self-ping strategy there. Then we have Clothu, Unraveled Ancient. 5 red-green for 4/4 flying haste. Whenever it attacks, add X mana in any combination of colors, where X is the total power of attacking creatures. Spend this mana only to cast spells. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Okay. We have a few reprints from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. We have the Barbarian class, Earth Cult Elemental, Component Pouch, Sword of Hours, Underdark Rift. Oh wait, is that no? Those no, it's just Earth Cult Elemental and Barbarian class are the ones from AFR apparently. So we have Component Pouch, 3 mana artifact. Tap to remove a component counter from Component Pouch. Add 2 mana of different colors, or you can tap and roll a d20. 1 through 9, put a component counter on it. 10 through 20, put 2 component counters on it. Okay. Then we have Sword of Hours, 2 mana equipment. Whenever an equipped creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage, roll a d12. If the result is greater than the damage dealt or the result is 12, double the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. Okay, and it has equipped 2. We have Underdark Rift. Taps for a colorless, and then 5, tap and exile it. Roll a d10. Put target artifact, creature, or planeswalker into its owner's library just beneath the top X cards of that library, where X is the result. Activate only as a sorcery. That's a strange one. Good old Anger. 3 in a red for a 2/2 haste. That's the part that's almost never going to matter with this card. As long as Anger is in your graveyard and you control a mountain, creatures you control have haste. This was along this was part of a cycle that included Anger, Glory, Filth, Wonder, and one other one, Brawn. I almost forgot the green one. And they all give different abilities from the graveyard if you control the corresponding land. Alright, Dragon Lord's Servant. 1 in a red for a 1/3. Dragon spells you cast cost 1 less. Ryle. Red for a sorcery. Deals 1 damage to target creature you control. That creature gains trample until end of turn. Draw a card. Oh, Beast Within. 2 in a green, instant. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast. Colossal Majesty. Enchantment for 2 in a green. At the beginning of your upkeep, control a creature with power 4 or greater. Draw a card. Okay. We have Cultivate. We have seen in most decks that are green. Cultivate is 2 in a green, sorcery, search your library for up to 2 basic lands, reveal them, put 1 on the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, and shuffle. You could all Explore. 1 in a green, sorcery. You may play an additional land this turn. Draw a card. Garruk's Uprising. 2 in a green. When it enters the battlefield, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This can really pop off very quickly, especially if you are able to create several large tokens. Rampant Growth. When a green sorcery, search a library for a basic, put on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Return to Nature. Better Naturalize. 1 in a green, instant, choose 1, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or exile target card from a graveyard. Savage Ventmaw, 4 red-green, for 4/4 flyer. Whenever it attacks, add red, 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 green, 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 green. So 3 red, 3 green. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Arcane Signet, we know what that does. Commander Sphere, 3 mana artifact, tap to add 1 color, or 1 mana of any color of your commander's color identity, and then you can sacrifice it to draw a card. It's not tap and sacrifice, it's just sacrifice. So, Gruul Signet, it's the green, the red-green Signet. Heirloom Blade, 3 mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+1. Whenever equipped creature dies, you may reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card that shares a creature type with it. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, equip 1. Soul Ring, we know what Soul Ring does. Taps for 2, comes in for 1. Command Tower, we know what Command Tower does. Desert, an old favorite. It is a land type desert. Tap for colorless, and then you can tap it to deal 1 damage to target attacking creature. Activate only during the end of combat step. Fun little interaction there. Then we have Gruul Turf, the red-green Karu. Path of Ancestry, enters the battlefield tap. Tap, add 1 mana of any color to your... Tap, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. When that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a type with your commander, scry 1. Dragon Speaker Shaman, 1 red for a 2/2. Dragon spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. We have 2 mountains. Okay. We have Berserker's Fury, 2 and a red instant. Cast a spell only before combat or during combat before blockers are declared. Roll 2d20 and ignore the lower result. 1 through 14, choose any number of creatures. They block this turn if able. 15 to 20, you choose which creatures block this turn and how those creatures block. So that's interesting. Chaos Dragon, 1 red for 4/4 flying haste. It attacks each combat if able. Wow, that is a very good rate for a creature. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each player rolls a d20. If one or more opponents had the highest result, Chaos Dragon can't attack those players or planeswalkers they control this combat. Oh, okay. And Maddening Hex, 1 red. Enchantment, Aura, Curse. Enchant player. Whenever enchanted player casts a non-creature spell, roll a d6. Maddening Hex deals damage to that player equal to the result. Then attach Maddening Hex to another one of your opponents chosen at random. In a 2-player game, so this gets played in Legacy fairly often against like Ad Nauseam Tendrils or the Epic Storm. But if you only have one opponent, it reattaches to the same opponent. Vengeful Ancestor, 2 red for a 3/4 flyer. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, goad target creature. Whenever a goaded creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to its controller. That's interesting. Bag of Tricks, 1 and a green artifact. 4 and a green tap, roll a d8. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card with mana value equal to the result. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Interesting. Druid of Purification. 3 and a green for a 2/3. When this enters the battlefield, starting with you, each player may choose an artifact or enchantment you don't control. Destroy each permanent chosen this way. Interesting. There's some good stuff in here. Indomitable Might. 3 and a green. Enchantment Aura. Flash. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3. Enchanted creature's controller may have it assign combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Okay, so it basically turns it into a Timberwolf, I think it was. Rocks is another example. Neverwinter Hydra, XX green for a 0/0. As it enters the battlefield, roll XD6. It enters with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the total number of those results. Trample Ward 4. Wow. So you could potentially get a 6/6 for for 3 mana, or I guess 4 mana. That's not that crazy of a rate, I guess. Wild Endeavor. 4 green sorcery. Roll 2d4 and choose one result. Create a number of 3/3 green beast creature tokens equal to the result. Then search your library for a number of basic land cards equal to the other result. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So that's an interesting one. It's both creature tokens and ramp. Dragonborn Champion. 2 red-green for 5/3 Trampler. It's a Dragon Warrior. Whenever a source you control deals 5 or more damage to a player, draw a card. Cloth's Will. X red-green instant. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast the spell, you may choose both. Breathe Flame. It deals X damage to each creature without flying. Smash Relics. Destroy up to X target artifacts and/or enchantments. It's a fun one. Wolfgar, Wolfgar of Icewind. Man, I'm having trouble talking today. Wolfgar of Icewind Dale. 3 red and a green. For 4/4 with melee. Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attacked this combat. Okay. So if you split across multiple opponents, it gets stronger. For creature you control attacking would cause a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger. That ability triggers an additional time. Okay, so it's Panharmonicon for attacking triggers. With Garden Hellkite. This is an old favorite. 6 red for 5/5 Flash Flyer. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage as you choose among any number of targets. This was one of our win conditions for Dragonstorm way back in the day. Chain Reaction. 2 red sorcery. It deals X damage to each creature where X is the number of creatures in play or on the battlefield. Demanding Dragon. 3 red for a 5/5 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to target opponent unless that player sacrifices a creature. Let's see. Dragonmaster Outcast. Red for a 1/1 human shaman. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 6 or more lands, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. This is an old favorite. It's been in standard twice, and I played it while it was in standard both times. Gratuitous Violence. 2 red. Enchantment. If a creature you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. Horde Smelter Dragon. 4 red for a 5/5 flyer. 3 and a red, destroy target artifact. This gets +X/+O until end of turn, where X is that artifact's mana value. Magma Quake. X red instant. Deals X damage to each creature without flying and each planeswalker. That's cool. Opportunistic Dragon. 2 red for a 4/3 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, choose target human or artifact an opponent controls. For as long as you control it, or for as long as it remains in play, gain control of that permanent. It loses all abilities and it can't attack or block. Right. It's a good way to shut off specific humans or artifacts. Outpost Siege. This was originally from Khans of Tarkir, I believe. 3 and a red enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, choose Khans or Dragons. Khans, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card. Dragons, whenever a creature you control leaves play, it deals 1 damage to any target. Scourge of Valkus. 2 red for a 4/4 flying dragon. Whenever this or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of dragons you control. And then it has fire breathing for red, so +1/+0 until end of turn. Alright, Shivan Hellkite. 5 red for a 5/5 flyer. 1 in a red, it deals 1 damage to any target. It's pretty sweet. Skyline Despot. 5 red for a 5/5 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you're the Monarch, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. Skyship Stalker. 2 red for a 3/3 flying dragon. It has fire breathing for a red. And you can give it first strike for a red until end of turn. You can give it haste for a red until end of turn. Spit Flame. 2 in a red, instant. Deals 4 damage to target creature. Whenever a dragon enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay red. If you do, return Spit Flame from your graveyard to your hand. Tarian Mauler. 2 in a red for a 2/2 changeling. It has every creature type. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Tarian Mauler. Terror of Mount Velis. 5 red for a 5/5 flying double strike dragon. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain double strike until end of turn. Thunderbreak Regent. 2 red for 4/4 flying dragon. Whenever a dragon you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Thunderbreak Regent deals 3 damage to that player. Warstorm Surge. 5 in a red enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Chameleon Colossus. 2 green. This was a very hot card back in Lorwyn. I believe it was Lorwyn. 2 green for a 4/4 changeling. Protection from black. 2 green. Chameleon Colossus gets +X until end of turn, where X is its power. Decree of Savagery. 7 green. Instant. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Cycling for 4 green. When you cycle Decree of Savagery, you may put 4 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Kindred Summons. 5 green instant. Choose a creature type. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards of the chosen type, where X is the number of creatures you control of that type. Put those creatures onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest of the revealed cards into your library. So this plays very nicely with the dragon theme. It could let you, at instant speed, just probably win, actually. Return of the Wild Speaker. 4 in a green, instant. Choose one. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. Or non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn. Rishkar's Expertise. 4 green, sorcery. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. You may cast a spell with mana value 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. Demonic Revelation. 3 green. Draw a card for each creature you control. Ferocious. You gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Notably, +5. Tarka World Render. 5 green and a red. Or 5 red-green. For a 6/4 flying trampler. And it's a dragon, of course. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. Dragon's Horde. 3 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield under your control, put a gold counter on it. Tap, remove a gold counter from it, draw a card. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. You have Cinderglade. It's the buddy land for... Well, it's a mountain forest. And it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basics. Crucible of the Spirit Dragon. Taps for colorless. 1 and tap, but a storage counter on it. Then tap and remove X storage counters from it. Add X mana of any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast dragon spells or activate abilities of dragons. You have Exotic Orchard. Taps for a color of any that your opponent's lands can. Game Trail. You can reveal a mountain or forest to have it enter untapped. If you don't, enters tapped. Haven of the Spirit Dragon, tap for a colorless, and you can tap for 1 of any color, but you can only spend it to cast dragon creatures. And then 2 and tap it, sacrifice it. Return target dragon creature card or Ugin Planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. Mossfire Valley, filters for red-green. Mossfort Bridge, that's Hideaway. It's Hideaway 4. And then taps for a green. Of course, it enters tapped. For a green and tap it, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if creatures you control have total power 10 or greater. We have some more mountains. So 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 mountains. 4, 8, 12, 15 forests, a few more than normal. We have Draconic Rage of Ancients with his token card. We have 5/5/5 Flying Dragon tokens with 5/4 Dragon Spirits on the back that whenever they deal damage, sacrifice, so that's interesting. It's an unusual token. And then we have 5 3/3 green beasts that are also dragon spirits on the back. That's a lot of dragon spirits. Then we have the Monarch, which is very nice, and another dragon spirit. They're all dragon spirits on the back. Okay. And then the turn order card. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure. We have returned to the Forgotten Realms. So, as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It is the best way to help out the channel in a non-monetary fashion. If you'd like to help out in a monetary fashion, we have a Patreon. It's linked in our About page. It's the best way to do that. So you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month, which really helps out the channel. And if you can't, that's cool too. As always, until next time, stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.